Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Gilmour, and I'm an author and advocate for women in abusive relationships. This is another episode of my thought series, and it's been a little while since I've done one, so I'm glad to be popping on with you today and updating you and telling you what is going on in my brain. So, number one, I have had a big lesson this week, and the lesson is basically that I need to be confident in myself as a person. So when I left an abusive relationship, I basically realised that I was justifying myself to any service or support that I'd received, including solicitors and courts and family support worker, any kind of organisation, and I felt this pressure to sort of prove who I was as a person. Looking back, I didn't really need to do it. I did to an extent. I had to sort of prove who I was, and I've felt like I've had to do that recently, and it really frustrates me, and it really annoys and angers me, to be honest, and I don't cope well with it, because I know who I am, I know who I say I am, I know my actions, I know if something's true or if something isn't, and I don't like it when things have been portrayed in a different way. So basically, for me to sort of get over that and that feeling, I didn't recognise it, and that's not good. So for me, I went back to how I dealt with things in the past, and that was really to have a drink, more than one, more than two, have a few drinks to basically numb what the reality was. And it just wasn't a good move. But I'm glad that it happened, because I really need to work on it and work on that aspect and not reset to that setting that is something that isn't me and it's not happy. So I'm going to work on it, because I am a work in progress. But I don't know if any of you will feel like that you realise that there are still pieces to be fit, and when things happen to you now after being through an abusive relationship and it sort of relates to ill feeling or to upset that's happened to you in the past, your coping mechanisms go, especially when you feel that you should be in a safe environment. And usually what I do in those situations is, if there's somebody in my life that is maybe a toxic person now or whatever, and I can recognise that, I basically remove them from my life. But sometimes I just don't have this choice. Although some people might argue I would, but I'm just not, I haven't got that choice. And it's just frustrating, because it means that I actually have to push myself even more to work out who I am, and how I can move forward and how I can deal with that particular trigger. I did a talk last week at Stella's Open Road Trip, and I said that I don't think you ever fully recover, but what I really meant is that you don't ever forget what happened to you. So you can be really focused, and a trigger can come and you can handle it really well, and then there's times where the unknown triggers come that you don't expect it, you don't relate it, and suddenly you find yourself thinking, oh my god, how did that happen? How did I cope well with it? And I'm not a perfect person either. I'm really not a perfect person. I wish I was, but I'm not. And so for me, it's like a really big challenge to sort of come over that barrier now and to work it out, and not to find so originally for me, I used to self-harm as an escapism, and then it turned into, a bit of drink, but it's not really drink, it was like binge drinking, and then it was chocolate and replacing it with food. And it's like I really want to find an alternative, a positive, so I don't know, like maybe putting some music on and dancing, or but I've just got to figure it out, or figure out how to deal with those triggers that are unknown to me and that I have to really sort of figure out. Do you know what I mean? So like triggers that I didn't know were triggers until it happens. So how to process that. The other thing is I wanted to talk about was had some sad news. So I mentioned on my blog, I'll pop the link in the description, but my Drip is closing, which I'm really upset about. And Drip was where supporters, followers, readers could come and sort of either do a £1 tier, 3, 6, 10, 20, whatever it was, and for each tier you unlocked content. That's shutting down in October, so I'm having to transfer either over to Patreon or to like Facebook groups and their subscription method, which I've been invited to pilot. And I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I'm going to figure it out because I've got till October, but I feel a bit sad about that, so do have a look at that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, something exciting, something I'm working on. My 2019 plan was to open a non-profit organisation, and I'm finally putting the wheels in motion, so watch this space. But in a nutshell, I want to say I want to get it done in the next 4 weeks, but it's not as simple, and I've really thought about it, haven't just gone on a whim and everything, but it will be related to abuse talk and everything to do with abuse talk and separating Jennifer Gilmour from abuse talk in a way, even though we still link. So much to think about. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell on my thought series today. Triggers, drip, non-profit. It's all going on. Hope you're all well, and do tell me what you think about what I've said and what you think about triggers. I'd be interested to know how you deal with new triggers that pop up that you weren't even sure they were a trigger at the time as well. So please do let me know, and remember that together we are louder. Bye.